The last and final time that I almost got graped was when I was doing my Uber thing. I started doing Uber to get extra income a few years back. And me almost being graped by one of my passengers, that's when I decided, or one of the reasons I decided to leave Uber alone. I never contacted Uber about it. I had it on video because I had a little camera in my car that I was driving around with. But the reason I didn't contact Uber about the incident was because the guy was pretty young. He was very young. He had to be around, say, 25, 26. And I decided that it wasn't in his best interest for me to call and report him, because he would have gotten jailed and deported from this country. He was from Trinidad and Tobago, and he was here living in a warehouse, and he did like air conditioning, but he was living in this warehouse that he was actually doing his business out of. So he had a / warehouse apartment. And how the incident took place was, this was a late night call, and I was out working late one night. It had to be about 11 o'clock. And when I got the call, it was for a house in North Lauderdale. So I go in North Lauderdale, and I picked this guy up. I'm out in the dark, though, for a while because he didn't come out right away. So I'm sitting in the dark waiting on him. I'm like, I hope this is a legit call. You know, because when you work Uber, sometimes you have to think, you know, when you go on certain locations, is this a good call? Right. Because you don't want to put yourself in danger. So I'm sitting in the dark across the street from the house, because the house had some other cars parked in the driveway. Finally, he comes out. I blow him because he started looking around. So I said, that must be my passenger. I blow him. He comes across the road. He gets in the car, and we take off. Now, he was going into Hollywood, by Hollywood Boulevard over there by, I think it was Sterling, yeah. There was some warehouses over there where he was going. So on the way there, we started having a conversation. And one of the conversations we were having was, he was a little drunk, and I could tell. And I says, oh, you're out drinking with your friends? He said, yeah, that's my buddy's house right there. I went over, had a couple of drinks. I've known him for years. Yada yada. So he's talking. So I said, well, don't you have a girlfriend? Why aren't you home with your girlfriend this time of night? She was like, no, I don't have no girlfriend. I'm alone, because every time I meet somebody, they try to control me or they get jealous. So I've been single for a while. So he's talking. And as he's talking, as an older person, I'm trying to, you know, tell him, oh, you need to give women another chance. It's probably you understand? You're not probably finding the right person, is what I'm saying to him. Well, long story short, as we're driving down, he keeps trying to find out about my life and what's going on with me, and if I'm seeing anybody. And I'm like, no, I'm not seeing anybody. I'm single. I was married. I got a child, you know, and we're just talking, shooting the breeze. But every time I stray away from the conversation about me, he tends to bring the conversation back about me as far as if to say he was interested in me. So I kept on telling him, I said, you don't want to be interested in me. I'm too old for you. This is not, I'm only here driving. I'm just trying to talk to you and console you and be a friend. I'm not looking for anybody. I'm not looking for a relationship. And first of all, if I was looking for a relationship, you're too young for me. Well, he didn't want to hear that. He just kept insisting, oh, I wouldn't mind dating you. I wouldn't mind talking to you, yada, yada. At that point now, I felt like, yeah, there's something wrong with this kid because I'm an old woman. Why would he want to even think about dating me or, anything like that? Well, as I got closer to his destination, he was sitting behind me in the car. And when I pulled into his destination, on the phone, it shows me directly where to take him. Well, he didn't want me to take him directly to the destination. He wanted me to turn off and drop him in a different area of where all these warehouses were. Because on the way there, he told me, I live in a warehouse, I do air conditioning, but I can't afford to have an apartment, so I live in this warehouse where I do my business. And he told me he was from Trinidad, Tobago, and, he relayed certain information to me as we were talking. All right. I get there and he doesn't want me to pull into the bay where his actual warehouse is. He wants me to pull into another bay area. And, as an Uber driver, you listen to your clients because they know what they want. So as I'm pulling into this bay area, this guy reaches from behind, grabs me by my neck, and starts to squeeze his hand around my neck, like a chokehold from behind. When I realized what he was doing, I screamed. And when I screamed out, I took my elbow, my right arm, and I brought it up and just hit him with my elbow, like, from he's facing the front, and I just pulled my elbow up and bam, I hit him. So when I pulled my elbow up and hit him, he kind of was shocked. So at that point, I was able to get a little bit of relief, and I jammed the car in reverse and in drive as soon as I was able to reverse the car enough and jam it in drive, because my intention now was to haul ass at 80 miles an hour to run the car way out in the main and have an accident. And once I have that accident, and he would have to come out the car, and me and him were probably going to end up in a hospital together. So when he realized that I had backed up the car and had the car in drive, and I was going about 80, 90 miles an hour in this street to try to go back out into the main with the car, to crash the car out in the main with whoever was coming, he started screaming, talking about, okay, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. So I finally stopped the car, and I'm gonna get out. I said, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. And he got out, and he hauled ass. And I hadn't seen him after that. I made it home. I didn't even work anymore after that. Made it home. My daughter was home. I went in the shower because I felt so dirty at that point. I don't know. He didn't grape me, but I felt dirty. And so with his hands around my neck, and jumped in the shower, and I was explaining it to my daughter. My daughter said, why don't you call the police? Don't you have it on video? I'm like, yeah, I got it on video. She says, well, you got to put in a complaint. You got to call. You got to get this guy put away. I had second thoughts, though, and then I told my friend the next day what happened. A good friend of mine, I called her up on the phone. She said the same thing. Why don't you put this guy away? This guy, he could do this again. And I think to this day I regret not putting him away, because after sitting down and thinking over the years about what they had said to me, and I'm like hoping that he doesn't go out there and pull this shit on somebody else, maybe somebody weaker than myself, you know? But I can't help to think that it's like 4 times someone attempted to grape me, and I've never been graped. I don't know, maybe it's the look on my face that people think that they could just attempt to grape me. But then I have this look that are very aggressive, so I'm still not understanding. I must have grape written across my face for some odd reason. But it's just been my luck. Now, I'm much older now, and I'm hoping that I never have another experience like that again, because those experiences are very scary, especially if you're a young person and you don't understand, and this is your first encounter, and you're probably a very timid type of person. You know, this can really, really affect someone, you know? But give a like, give a share, comment, please tell me what you think. And because this is my final rape episode, or grape episode, I'm hoping this is it. I'm hoping I never have another one.